Dude, thanks a lot for coming online, man. I mean, right now, I mean, it's a big endeavor to record something on the side and send it to me as well, because I've been speaking to a couple of people, and you right now have been doing a lot of video recording and stuff, so you know the technicalities behind it, so it's a little easier.
Yeah.
So first of all, thanks a lot for doing that.
Thanks for having me, man. It's good to be here.
Yeah, so I mean, the reason I'm like doing this mostly is because, like, I think I spoke to you on the phone as well. Like in Sri Lanka, we are all, my minds are engineered by the previous generations to do the traditional 9 to 5 to study. But right now, I'm seeing in my generation, especially with people born in the 90s, most of them are finding success in this freelance career where they chase their passions and find out that works as well, even though it has been in the Western world for a while. So that's what I really want to tap into. And with you, Aaron, I think the first time I saw you, I remember this the picture that was posted on Facebook years ago, where I think you were doing a fashion shoot at school or something like that. And you had you were ripped and you had like abs and all of that. Yeah, so that's what I think I remember that picture, because you recently posted it as well.
Probably, I think so, maybe.
Yeah, and then I connected the dots saying, okay, wow, this is the same guy. And because back then I wasn't following you and we were all in school and we were just, going off of each other's shared posts. So what was it like in school? Like, where right now you are training people in yoga, right?
Yeah.
You're a fitness advocate.
Yeah, right now, bro, I'm a yoga teacher trainer. So I teach people to be teachers. Or I teach teachers to be better teachers. So that's kind of like what I do right now. In school, like when I started out, I don't know if you know, but like when I was growing up, when I was around from the ages of like 8 to like 16, I was an obese kid. I was.
Oh yes, yeah. I remember seeing that picture as well.
Yeah.
You posted side by side.
Yeah, so I was like way overweight. I was like 138 kilos, which is like way over 300 pounds. I don't even know how much that is, right? And and basically, I decided that things needed to change, and then I went around. Doing it all the wrong way, because at that time, you're 16, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You think you need to cut out carbs, work out for like 24 hours a day. Anyway, whatever I did kind of worked. And then I turned my life around. Then I found the whole passion for, fitness and everything. And since then, I've been coaching people, like at least like at that point, when I was 18, 19, I used to coach people just on like a advice basis, and then I did a lot of research, did some studies into it, took it to the next level, with nutrition and everything. And then for a couple of years, I was a Muay Thai fighter.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and then gave up on that, because not gave up, but retired from that because I had too many injuries and broken bones.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so you make mistakes. I always recommend people to train in it, but competing is a different story. It's a whole new ball game there.
So what was your mindset like when you were 19, 18, about like career-wise? What do you remember what you were thinking at that time?
Yeah, career-wise. So my dad had his own company. So he built he built a company from scratch. It was medical devices, and we weren't always the rich family, Growing up, we were actually really poor. When I was starting out, when I was really young. I don't remember that, but I remember my parents struggling. And then my dad somehow, got together some money. He put this company up, and and then he built it up. And then by the time I left school, by the time 18, 19, we were doing pretty good. I won't say great, but then right after school, I had the privilege of like, without working for anyone else, going and working for my dad. and which was great, to be honest. You know, it's always nice to do your own thing, not having to work, you know, for different people, you know, going through the shit. And you know, like me and my dad have a really good relationship, so it was nice to work for him. So I've always wanted to, you know, take over my dad's company, you know, be the good son, you know, be the whole corporate world kind of thing, because that's all I need. You know, the thing with people, and I would say, like, it's kind of sad to say this, but if I'm being honest, when you're in the Sri Lankan bubble, you're hardly exposed to what's happening in the world outside of you. You have people or kids are absolutely like clueless as to the potential opportunities that you have in the world. If that makes sense. Because like you basically have no idea the amount of avenues that you can make a living from. You know, because you're only exposed to get a career, get a job, you know, get work in the bank, or, you know, a doctor or a teacher or whatever.
So I mean, that's pretty interesting, because like when I was growing up as well, I started my undergraduate and I was also wanted to do music. I started as an engineer, but I quit in my first year because I wanted to be a musician. I had dreadlocks and all of that jazz.
I remember.
And so I kind of get where you're feeling, because everyone I met was like, okay, you know what, you want to be a musician, okay, that's your hobby. What's your doctor, lawyer, engineer plan, right? But then that's why you know, the previous people that I've got onto this podcast, I want to like get into their minds, because it is challenging in our context to break from that, you know. I mean, so that's what I'm like hearing repeatedly. So okay, I mean, I also had the privilege, you know, where I didn't have to like, you know, worry about finances, because you know, our parents were taking the brunt of the work in the beginning, so I was, you know, dabbling in music and photography as well. So when you started, when did you like properly, you know, get obsessed with what's your like with fitness, and like what made you to pursue it like 100%? As you said in the beginning, you did it in the wrong ways, right? What created that obsession to find out, you know, what's the right way to do it?
Well, the thing is, when you were that obese as a kid, and when you change your life around, you know, it's really hard to explain, but you just see how much more different your life becomes and how enriched it is just from, you know, because like, it's sad to say, but to be honest, like the world today is a very you know, it's a visual world,
right?
You know, it's just you get treated different avenues open up for you, different doors open up for you, people treat you different, you know, your quality of life just improves.
Right.
That's I can tell you that, oh, I just did it for myself, you know, blah blah blah, but the thing is, at the end of the day, you know, it's like if you are being honest, you know, like it's just nicer, you know, it's a nicer life, and then you know, you really don't want to go back to being that. So I made it a point to you know, like really do my research on it and pursue it.
Okay, right. So when you said that you wanted to, like from the get-go, you were like, you know, obsessed and trying to do your proper research.
Pretty much,
right? Like, right. Who introduced you to yoga? Like,
it's a bit of a story. Do you want me to?
We should get into the story.
Okay, so so like I said, you know, like I took over my dad's company.
Okay.
And
how old are you when this happened? Like,
maybe like 2021.
Okay.
And anyway, like we were working, and then around 23, 24, due to some stuff that happened, you know, like just complications that happened, like not to comfortable with saying it on public networks.
We can skip that part out.
So the company started to fail. There was quite a massive setback that we had. And I was left with no choice but to find different avenues of work.
Right.
And that was a really tough time because you go from having your own company to being pretty comfortable, and then having to find work, and in an industry that, unless you're doing your own thing like I was doing, is not that easy to make a good chunk of money that can sustain you and your family.
And my dad has a pharmaceutical company as well, so I know the cutthroat competition that's there.
It's ridiculous. So ultimately I ended up having to move to the south of Sri Lanka, and work as a F&B manager in a 5-star luxury boutique hotel. So that was a really tough transition because I didn't have any kind of experience in this field. But I gotta say, that transition, even though it was tough, it was a very big learning curve for me, and it was also like a different set of challenges presented itself. Especially since we're talking about Sri Lankans. And us going down a different career path, you really don't understand how tough it is. Like, I didn't really understand how tough it is for Sri Lankans to be respected, especially in companies that are owned by foreign parties, which is it's not a thing that gets spoken about a lot, but someone needs to shed some light on it, So this resort was owned by a foreign party, and luckily they treated all Sri Lankans like that.
I can understand.
Which was pretty bad. And the thing is, I was hired under a different kind of basis, and they could communicate with me on a different note. So ultimately they ended up wanting me to do their dirty work and treat my own countrymen like that. So which I just had a lot of constant fights with them and clashing. And then ultimately, this whole resort got booked out for an entire month for a teacher training, a yoga teacher training. So a bunch of teachers, or 30-35 teachers, came there to do their advanced teacher training, led by this guy who's now one of my friends. And and ultimately, I ended up connecting a lot with those guys, and they invited me to do yoga with them, before work, after work. It was so this is what I do now. This is the thing, right? So these programs are 8 to 10 hours a day for 30 to 40 days, and you end up with your certification, right? So I ended up doing my first ever, until then I had not done any yoga in my life. What was your opinion on yoga at that point? Before you... I was one of those guys that used to bash it. I was screw this. It's this is for girls. It's just a bunch of glorified stretching, blah blah blah. I was the gym buff. But the thing is, anyone who says that, to be honest, it does sound really manly to say it, but to be honest, if I can't speak for anyone else, but I used to say that because I knew that I looked like a freaking idiot doing that shit. right?
Yeah.
And I knew that, like, so basically it was just a defense mechanism of, oh yeah, I'm not doing it because it's girly, but I knew that, like, if they deep down that I look like an idiot doing it, and I probably can't do any of it, so that's why I'm just gonna say this, But anyway, like, I decided to try it for the first time, and yeah, I suffered so much, because these guys were like at a very advanced level, and I couldn't even do a downward facing dog, so everything hurt. After 1 hour, I was like just sweating, and I ended up. It was at that point that I knew, okay, this is a really different kind of challenge, because I used to be able to lift some heavy weights, I looked a certain way. But the thing is, like, when it came to functional movement, it was really, really sad. Like, you can look a certain way and you can, be able to lift 500 pounds in one direction. But when it comes to, functional movement or bodies, your own body weight, how you move around, if you're really being honest with yourself, a lot of us lack a lot of discipline in that area. It's at that point when I realized that this is something that I want to pursue, so that ended up that training finished. I trained a bunch of times with them. I became good friends with a lot of them.
So this was so 1 month you met, like, this was not during just that 1 month, right? Like, this is prior to them coming and booking the, as in after the whole, or was it during that 1 month?
This was during that 1 month.
Okay. So you were part of the training group.
No, I wasn't a part of the training group. I was an employee of the hotel, but I became so good friends with these guys that they just invited me to come for their...
Yeah, I was wondering how you were navigating the fact that you were working there and also being part of the...
So before work, like, they used to start their training at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So I would join from 7 to 8:30, go to work, and then join again, just for the fun stuff, just for the classes. I didn't join the theory or, all the other technical stuff. So I became really good friends with these guys, and like I really started to like it. I joined like maybe out of the 40 days they were there, I would have joined maybe like 20. It's really nice, when you start to do yoga, it's a different kind of feeling. And anyway, they ended up leaving. They ended up leaving, and then I kept having problems with work. And in the end, I decided to up and quit. And
Were you what was the time period from the time they left to the point where you quit? Like
probably like 4 months.
Right. So were you training on the side with? Were you still doing yoga, or after they left, did you just?
No, I just stopped.
It just right. So
I just stopped.
Okay, so then when you quit, what was your option after that? Like, what did you?
So ultimately I ended up having to. At that point, I had met my wife right now.
Okay.
And
I've been following her as well through your.
So
this was you met her during this 1 month.
I met her during this 1 month.
Okay.
And she was one of the teachers who was leading the group. So it was one of my friends. He was the main teacher. She was the co-teacher. So we ended up getting into a relationship then. And then at that point, she was living with me down south. So she decided to stay back in Sri Lanka. She's Canadian, by the way.
Okay.
So she does stay back with me. And and then ultimately when I decided to quit, she was a very successful, or she still is a very successful teacher worldwide. Then I quit. Decided to go back home. She came with me, obviously. And then like I ended up looking for more jobs in the corporate section of like F&B or hotel management or things like that, because at that point, like after 2 years of working in that industry, I was like pretty good at that industry as well.
Right. So you stuck in the industry for 2 years after the
Yeah.
host. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Overall, from when I started.
And your wife was going in and out of the country, or was she like
Yeah.
station? Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So no, this was like, so after I met her, it's only been 4 months after I quit, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so then I came back, and then like maybe I was looking for jobs for like a month, and
Okay.
then it's just that like we were getting really serious at that point, and we
Right.
knew that if I had a job in Sri Lanka, and if I was doing a corporate job, she would have to travel the world, and we would barely
Right.
see each other.
Right.
So yeah, that's when I decided, okay, you know what, let's work together. Yeah, and then I ended up initially taking over, the administration part of like her thing. I was working for her, and
So
ended
dream
up doing the
team.
administration. Sorry, yeah, dream team. Yeah, the creative designing, dealing with all the organizers, blah blah blah. Few months down the line, I decided to do my first yoga teacher training myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Was this in Sri Lanka?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the ironic thing, it was by the same guy that taught the training, and it was in the hotel that I was working for.
Right.
So I ended up going back as a guest.
Right.
This was this was just a happy side note.
Funny how things work out.
Yeah, it's just very ironic and funny, Anyway, the training went really well. After that training was 30 days, where I got my level 1 teacher training certification. And then I loved it so much that at that point I was also prepping for a bodybuilding competition.
Oh wow!
In Bali.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the competition that Johan.
Yeah. Okay.
Johan? Yeah. So I was supposed to do the same competition as him.
Right. This is Johan as in the Johan.
That's
you said right. Yeah.
So I ended up. I was bulking at that point for that competition.
Right.
And then after I did my teacher training, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick to the yoga path, and I gave the competition up. And and then I ended up within like 3 to 4 months of doing my level 1 teacher training, which was 30 days long. I ended up doing my my advanced level teacher training within like 4 months, which is like usually unheard of. People usually do it like 3 to 4 years.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Right.
So, which is 40 days.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's and it's a training. It's like 10 hours a day. So you start all these trainings are 10 hours a day. So you start off at 7:30 in the morning, and you end at like 6:30 at night.
Wow.
11 hours. Yeah. So I ended up doing that teacher training, and then after that, pretty much then. So that's the highest level of like certification you get. And then I ended up traveling the world, co-teaching with my wife, doing trainings, doing my own trainings, co-teaching with her. Wow. She co-teaches with me. Yeah, and that's how I'm here.
Right. Wow. So like that's like like I said before, it's a dream team to be working on the same thing, because you guys have the same. There's no like when you're running a business as well. It's what I've realized is. When there are secrets, it's really difficult to like run a business. But when you guys are building your future together, there's no secrets, so then the business becomes a little easier, I guess. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I guess that's something to talk about.
Yeah. No, for sure, man, for sure. Like I totally agree with you, but it also depends on who you're doing the business with, right? Like. Luckily, like my wife is like, we connect on the same wavelength. We both have the same dumb jokes, the same dumb humor. The same dry humor.
Right.
And it's never really boring with the both of us. We're always like vibing off each other. It's just easy. It's this is just easy, you know, it doesn't feel like work. It's also nice, you know, this line of work, it's like it's very satisfying and fulfilling. In the sense, like, you know, you're teaching people to be teachers, they go and spread more teachings to more people, you know, it's like just it's a cycle of enriching people's lives, and it's just a really nice feeling when you get someone upside down, or you get them standing on their hands for the first time. You know, it's just the way people's faces light up, and you know, like
I've been following Instagram page, and like the stuff that I don't practice like yoga, but the reason I'm so intrigued is because I see these people like suddenly like you sharing videos of them doing these things, and you know, like the way they're moving, it's like pretty fascinating. Because normally even like you, like the attitude that I had was, okay, this is like not very helpful when I was younger and all of that, when I was but now that, you know, I'm looking at like movement and all of that, it's for me to just watch, it's like a big, you know, like motivation to go and do like my thing, you know, like to go and succeed in and that's the reason, you know, I think I spoke to you about, you know, making videos for you, because I want you guys, everybody to know that it's so easy to get good quality videos and all of that stuff like that, as long as you know the technicalities behind it. So travel is like a big part of both of your
man, we're hardly ever in one place. Like, I think last year we were in like 10 to 12 countries teaching.
That's
and this year it's supposed to be like 14 or 16. And right now, like at this very point, we were supposed to be in Paris.
It's crazy.
But you know, these things happen, and you know, it's been it's fine, you know, it's like it's just the life is uncertain, you know, and it's like it's like, you know, it's a case of mentality as well, you know, it's like how you handle you know, the ups and downs in life, you know, like it's so easy for people to get bogged down, you know, it's like my life is going really bad, I'm just gonna sit in one place and feel sad for myself, you know, that's really not gonna help anyone.
I mean,
not gonna help you, and
that's something as like I've been realizing as we get older, like your mental health plays a big part in whether you do well or not in life and stuff like that. What's your what have you seen with like people, like do most people come but you've seen people transition from their training over a period of time, especially people you train. Is there like a massive correlation between your physical health and your mental health when it comes to?
To be honest, there is.
Especially with career, like because you follow this full time, but I'm pretty sure you've met like students that have different career paths but are also engaged in this as well, right?
Oh yeah, big time, man. Like you like, especially in this line of work, you see a lot of people changing. Like even if it's just take a 30-day training, right? So I have had a lot of people who come in like very angry, very frustrated, you know. But then like over the first week, you can see them opening up more, they're smiling more. Over the second week, you know, they're way more connected with people. By the end of the training, you know, they're smiling, they're joking, they're happy. You know, it's like in these trainings, you know, we're not just teaching you to do yoga or whatever, right? It's a case of like, so basically it's we really do a lot of practicing. Then you get medical grade anatomy certification.
Oh wow!
You get the whole you know, the psychology behind it. We have you know, the philosophies, you know, breathing techniques. Just with all of the combination of all of this, you know, it's just enriching. You know, just getting the quality of living just a bit higher. And also, like if just by teaching people the physical point of yoga, you see a lot of like this is on a very physical level. The changes you see, because when you see a lot of people hunched up, You know, you can't be hunched up, and you can't breathe a lot when you're hunched up, right?
As you're saying this, I'm like picturing in my mind, this is what's happening.
Yeah, so this is a lot of things. This is a very common thing that happens with a lot of people that work. You're always like over the laptop. You're always over your phone. You're always crunched over eating. You're always sitting down, and you're always like you're crunched up. So your intake of oxygen is low. Because you can't breathe. You're compressing your lungs when you're like this. So which means there's less oxygen going into your brain, which means physically or mentally you get depressed. By the practice of yoga, you open up more, your body is more flexible, more nimble, your lungs can expand more, which means, and you learn breathing techniques and all of this stuff. So you learn how to take in more and more and more and more oxygen into your body, which goes into your brain. Everything is moving around more freely. This helps mental health of people by so much, and it's just by improving your posture. You don't need to stand on your hands to do all of this stuff. It's just a happy side note.
Going back to the whole travel thing, how was it like traveling during the whole COVID? Because you flew. Right now, just for everybody to get an idea, you are in quarantine because you just came in the country safely. Thank God for that. So how was traveling like during a time like this? Because not many people see airports.
So you want me to be honest, or you want me?
You can be brutally honest.
Brutally honest. I don't know if I'll get into trouble for being brutally honest, but
if it's too brutal,
I'll just state facts. I'll just tell you the facts.
Okay.
I'm not gonna give you my opinion. I'll just tell you what actually happened, and everyone can decide.
Yes. Okay. That's better.
So I got married in December.
Okay. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. My wife and I. So right after we got married, we started traveling around teaching again. And obviously, when this whole thing happened, we got stuck in Malaysia.
Right. Yeah.
I was teaching in Malaysia. She was teaching in Dubai.
Okay.
But Abu Dhabi. But when this whole thing happened, she decided to cancel what she was doing, and she came back to Malaysia and spend time with me because we knew everything was going to shut down, and we'd rather be together, right?
Yeah.
So cool. We were in Malaysia. Everything got shut down. Luckily, we were at a really good friend's house. Okay. And so we were staying with them. But then after things got shut down, we were waiting to come back home, but then we had a complication because even though we were married, she wasn't entitled for a spousal visa because we hadn't been married for 6 months and we hadn't been in the country after we got married for 3 months.
Okay.
Right?
That is to come to Sri Lanka?
To come to Sri Lanka.
Oh wow, I didn't know we had strict rules like that. Again.
I don't understand it. But anyway, so when the borders opened again, she couldn't get a visa to come back to Sri Lanka because people were not giving tourist visas. So I had to leave because my visa expired, and then she had to go back. And we had to wait until people start giving visas again. But so I don't know when that'll be, but let's hope it's soon. But traveling during the pandemic was quite interesting because I got a call from the Sri Lankan High Commission in Malaysia saying that there are going to be these repatriate flights back to Sri Lanka. And and do I want to be on this flight? And let me just tell you like I said, I'm just going to state facts. Usually a ticket to Malaysia can be purchased. If you're flying Asia, you can get it for 12,000. If you're flying Sri Lankan, it's 18 to 24. Even Emirates or Qatar is 20, 25, 26, whatever. So this was Sri Lankan Airlines that we flew, obviously, and the ticket was 93,000.
What? What?
I'm not gonna give you my I'm not gonna give you my opinion. I'm just.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it was 93,000. Yeah. And this was the only flight out for the next 1.5 months.
Right. Oh my god.
So there were flights that were supposed to, happen, but those flights were also the flights that were supposed to happen were like 45,000, 55,000. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Not as bad as 93,000.
Yeah.
Right. And so. Yeah, and then it was basically, so I had to pay that fine.
So what was it?
Then,
did you have the option to extend your visa and stay if you wanted to?
So basically I had already been in Malaysia for 3 months.
Right, and then you had no choice. You had to,
I could have extended, but then it would have been a whole different process.
Right.
I don't know if it was going to be approved.
Okay. Yeah, it was probably best to come back. Yeah.
Again, I'm not gonna give you my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
But but I met. This is another fact that I'll state is I met a lot of people who didn't have 93,000 rupees to just here you go. That wanted to come back to Sri Lanka, so they had to get loans.
Oh my god!
It wasn't just them. It was their families.
Yeah.
And so many, like one ticket is 93.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I also met a couple of students whose parents had to go around collecting funds in their own villages to get their kids back home. But anyway,
I'm getting shivers listening to it. My reaction will be your opinion. Just take that.
Okay,
There's no.
Clearly, I am happy about this whole thing.
Clearly, just for the record.
So then, actually, when I went to the Kuala Lumpur airport, it was actually pretty organized. Everything was pretty good. We got on the plane. It was a very basic flight. Even on the everything was pretty much done pretty well. Yeah. Because the flight was full. There was no social distancing. Everyone was sitting next to each other. But it was full as hell. But there was no infotainment stuff and all because you can't share headphones and all of this. Totally understandable. Yeah. Everyone was wearing masks the entire time. People were very nice. We landed in Sri Lanka at like 4:30 local time. And then there was a massive line. I think there were maybe, don't quote me on this, but there were maybe like 200 to 300 people. There were like I think there were 2 flights that came at the same time from different countries. And so we were all funneled through this like a huge line that I didn't know. You didn't know where the line started. You didn't know where the line ended. With people with full hazmat suits, the whole army. There were like 300 people, and for 300 people there was one sanitizing station.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So.
Nice.
Great. Okay, so we were, ultimately, after going through getting the whole sanitizing process done, there was the whole, they take your picture, ID, passport. Fast forward, I only got to my room at 11:45 in the night.
Wow.
I landed at 4. Got to my hotel room at 11:45 at night. So, I mean...
You could have flown and come back to the country.
But whatever.
It's a situation.
It's too much. It's a situation. There's a lot of processes that go behind. There's a lot of
and then it's the people working there, they're putting themselves at risk as well, so they need to make sure that they are protected and all of that as well. So the two sides, I'm sure there's 2 sides to the story also.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and this is why I'm just telling you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
No, I'm not giving you my opinion.
Yeah.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
This is how it went down. Yeah, and then it's been nice. Like the people at the hotel are really nice.
Okay.
You know, it's all handled by the army. These guys are brilliant. Like they're so friendly. They're really nice. They really take care of you. If you ask for extra like stuff for you to make your tea in your room, they give you like enough for a week.
Yeah, I saw you. They've given you like a massive heap of like mineral water bottles and all that.
Yeah, man. Like seriously, they really take care of you. They're really nice. You know. Yeah, the hotel is pretty nice, but.
So if the people who couldn't afford the hotels, you said that they go to like the quarantine camp, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I heard that the army quarantine camps are pretty good.
Right.
They're pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is like it's not. So basically, I think the only people that were given the option of having to pay 7,500 for a room.
Right.
Were, to the best of my knowledge, were the kids or the Sri Lankans that flew in from Australia.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. So unfortunately, in Colombo, in Mount Lavinia Hotel, at least here, if you want your own private room, it's not 7,500; it's 14,000.
Right.
So so it's double the price.
Crazy.
It's not. So ultimately, with taxes, you end up paying another 230,000.
That's crazy.
In addition to the 90,000. It's a very, it's like it's not the best. Financially.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's what can you do?
Times like this, it's like like okay, what's the best to do for my health and the situation that there is right now.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
It's and really like unless I didn't know anyone that I was flying back with, otherwise I would have loved to share a room with someone, but since I didn't know anyone and I didn't know where they were coming from or if they were sick or not, I have to get my own. And there was an option of getting a room for 7,500. It was either 14K for this room or army camp.
Right.
What can you do,
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting time to live in.
Yeah, it's a very interesting time to live in. You really, one thing you realize when you travel through this whole thing is, or just living through this whole thing, it's you can't compare pre-corona to post-corona.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it's just things are different. Things are different.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, like, I think you probably can answer this better than us. Like, how, because you have, you're married to a Canadian as well. Like, what do you think is going to happen to people like me, or, most of us that have Sri Lankan passports when it comes, flying to the US? Because I tend to go there for work maybe once every 2 years or once every year. What do you think the visa situation is going to happen there? Do you have any insight onto that, or have you given any thought?
For the US or
for the Western world, for countries like us where we don't have like a proper quarantine system or like a health check system?
So let me start off by saying this. Before Corona, even before Corona happened, it's so hard for Sri Lankans to travel. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I have like the amount of documentation that's required for you to go to any country is absolutely nuts. And it's just so frustrating.
It's harder than a job interview, to be honest.
You get treated like a second-class citizen. They make you feel like you are worthless. My even though I traveled to all of these countries in the last year, just give you one option of how badly people treat you in these visa offices is that I applied for my Australian visa because I was supposed to go last year. And when I gave them all my details and my bank statements, you had to give them like your whole life. So when I gave them my bank statements, I had just sold my house
Okay.
And all my money went into my bank. And the reason why my Australian visa was denied is because they said I have too much money in my accounts for being a Sri Lankan.
Oh my
Can
god.
you also hold on for a second? There's someone at the door.
Right, yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, no,
they came to give me my water.
Right.
And more.
The tea items,
stuff.
I heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you had more money in your bank account and they didn't like that? Like.
It was ridiculous, right? They said this was suspicious that I had so much money in my bank account for a Sri Lanka.
Oh god.
That's why my visa was denied. So just on that note, you can understand how bad Sri Lankans are treated.
Yeah.
And and like you don't like, people say racism is not existent in the world anymore, blah blah blah, but that's a blatant lie. That's a blatant lie. You know,
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there's this. I mean, if you like dig into it, the Western world is so developed because countries like us were looted in the past, like the British Empire. Like there's this huge debate that's always going on in England as well, even in Europe, in the US, because we are so poor because they, like, the reason we have rail systems in this country is because the British wanted to make sure that all the resources that they find in the country, they could transport it to the port, not to help us. Like, so it's a lot of frustrations, but it's one of the things.
Yeah, but you know, that's just how the world functioned in the past, you know.
Exactly.
And there is no reason for our country to be in the state it's in right now.
That's true. That's very true.
We can't really blame them for how we are right now. Like,
that's true.
There are so many countries. Like, if you go to Malaysia, if you go to Singapore, they were all looted as well.
Cool. Yeah.
They were all. We went through the same thing, but they are so much more developed. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they have way less resources than we have here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
And so like racism is clearly very alive.
That's interesting.
Because like my wife is Canadian. She has the Canadian passport, and she also has a Hong Kong passport, right? And with a passport like that, you see the difference. Like, she doesn't even have to apply to go to any country. She just shows up and they say, okay, look at your passport. They don't care what you look like, right? They just stamp it. Meanwhile, I have to give my whole life, my father's whole life, my mother's whole life, all my relations, like all of their information. I have to fill out forms that I'm not a terrorist. No, I'm serious. Like,
I know. I've gone through.
Yeah, there's a separate form that you have to fill out saying, are you connected to any terrorist organizations? Have you ever, being arrested for any kind of suspicious behavior that relates to terrorist organizations? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how like people who are like backpackers, they work for a couple of months and then without any decision, they just okay, I'm going for 6 months to Sri Lanka to have a holiday. That option is not there for us. Like, we have to plan at least 6 months ahead, get our statements done, get our background checks done. It's pretty
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the thing is, like, the really frustrating part is I know, like, this, luckily I was able to get most of my visas, like to Europe and everything, like, and then the problem is, like, what really sucks is that for when you're born in Sri Lanka, and if you're not born super rich, you work your ass off. You go through a lot of stuff. You go through hell until you get to a level where you're comfortable enough to be able to travel freely.
Right.
And then even after that, you get treated like this, and your visas get denied. And it's just sad. It's sad.
I mean, because right now I've, like, obviously if my parents didn't have this house to show that our family has something to come back to.
Exactly.
It's depressing. Actually, last year, the whole of 2019, I was depressed about this fact. Because I was working for I don't want to use the word depressed, but I was really annoyed by this. Because I work for an American company and I started seeing the world and how disadvantageous it is to have a Sri Lankan passport. But all of that, I changed my mindset. But I was really upset about it last year. Now I can
it's just sad.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. It's sad.
Yeah.
Unless you have assets to.
It's
show
extremely
for your
difficult.
name.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But then again, like, you have to understand, like, it's really bad how they treat you.
But
also at the same time,
two sides to the story, right?
Sri Lankans also, bought this on themselves.
Definitely.
A lot of guys just went and just like, whenever they were allowed to go, they went and they just stayed there illegally.
Yeah.
And I've worked in the south, right? So if you go and if you talk to a lot of these guys who live in villages, their goal in life, like literally,
is to jump the country.
is to jump the country.
Right.
They're like, bro, I'm waiting to go to Milan, or I'm waiting to get my visa to Spain or Paris or whatever. And then once I go there, I'm going to disappear.
Right.
And they openly tell you that.
That's
ridiculous.
That's one of the reasons. Like, I started making my mind up, because it's not entirely like their fault. I remember when we were trying to go to Holy Land last April, me, my family, and with my girlfriend. And the group that went before us, two of the teenagers, like I think they were 19-year-olds, they went missing as soon as they landed. So every kid under 25 years old, they blocked their visas for the next year. So
it's just, I mean, that's the whole problem, right? Like, we're so short-sighted. Like, the thing is, one person can ruin it for the whole country.
True.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's really sad, because there are so many people who are foreigners who are staying in Sri Lanka illegally. But
my best friends, one of my closest friends, girlfriend, Russian, she's staying in this country illegally. I'm wondering, okay, what is the story behind that?
I know.
Why does anybody?
I know so many. Yeah.
What drives somebody like a Russian to come and stay in Sri Lanka like illegally? Like,
no, it's profitable. Sri Lanka is like there's so much of opportunity here.
Yeah. Oh,
if you have money and you come to the south, you build a hotel, you can make so much money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, dude. I mean, like, I'm hopeful for this country now, just because I've changed my mindset, and we'll see where the situation is going. But before I do end this conversation, I want to talk about your tattoos, man. Because I have a very tiny tattoo here. It hurt like hell. I got it in 2012. I've been wanting to get a lot more. It's just the pain.
I don't know if you guys can see. I just have. I'm fully covered, guys.
I'll put a few snips here and there from Instagram. See that. So you're fully covered in the sense from head to toe, even on your legs as well.
My whole arms, my chest, my leg, one leg.
Right.
Yeah.
So what drew you to that? Like, what was the whole story between tattoos?
Well, I always loved them since I was a kid. And it's just a form of expression,
I think you started off with the rock.
Well, initially I was obviously, like, there are like millions of people that were inspired by this guy, right?
Yeah.
But this is not the same. This is not the same style.
Right.
It's just this tattoo that my first one took me 23 hours or something like that.
Oh god.
No, all together, I think. My whole thing to finish was 5 8-hour sessions. So that's 40 hours.
Right. Oh my god.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, before I got my tattoos or after I got my first tattoo, man, like, the amount of hate I got for it. Yeah, people admired it, but everyone was like, oh my god, why are you getting such a big tattoo? You're going to regret it later. You're not going to be able to get a job. This, that, all of this crazy talk, right? And man, I was sick of it. I was like, man, if people don't want me for who I am, or if like this is me, okay, this is my form of expression, blah blah blah. I don't want to work for you, man. Like I don't care. And like I always, like I told you, I had the privilege of working for my father, you know, and like he didn't like the idea at first, but then they warmed up to it really fast after I got it.
I mean, same, because the guy who did this wasn't a very good artist. It didn't come out well. It looks like I've drawn it on with platinum. So my parents for 6 months thought that I was drawing it on. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, I get the whole stigma behind it.
Yeah, it's weird, you know. But you know, at least like you know, and then like after that, since then, you know, my first tattoo was like 12 years ago, and since then I've just been adding and everywhere I go, you know, all over the world I get something done. I have a lot of like Sri Lankan stuff, like it's just that, you know, like there's a lot of like since I do go around a lot, you know, I do travel around a lot, you know, it's like
it's a lot of nostalgia for the homeland.
Yeah, it's just that a lot of people who get tattoos in Sri Lanka get like all these other stuff, and you know, it's like there's so much of really nice culture, you know, in Sri Lanka, so much of nice designs, and you know, our heritage is so cool, you know, like if you see right here, you can see the so I have a whole this side of my arm, and my whole leg is all Sri Lankan.
Nice.
Sri Lankan stuff, but yeah, you know, it's been a cool journey. I think I calculated the other day, because someone asked me, I've been under the gun for 173 hours.
Oh my god!
Altogether.
Do you have a low tolerance for pain, or you just wanna get the tattoo done? Like,
no, I have a very high tolerance for pain.
Okay, cool.
So I just got my calf done like in February in Thailand.
Right.
I literally it took 6 or 7 hours to do.
Right.
And literally you had to go over the calf bone, you know, your tibia as well.
I've heard. I don't know how painful, but I've heard that those are like really difficult areas.
Yeah, so I don't know if like this is normal, but I binged watched the TV show Sex Education and fell asleep.
What?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. I think after like the first 50-60 hours of getting tattooed,
you get
man, like it's fine, you know.
Right. Okay, who is a good tattoo artist in Sri Lanka? If I am to, because I want to get a sleeve, but we'll see.
Okay, well, I can give you like from the top of my head, like best right now, in my opinion, is Udit.
Okay.
From, you know Udit, Sony Studio, I think.
Yeah.
And Rowena.
Okay, is that from
Rowena? Rowaves.
No, I don't think but I'll find them and then.
You can just put their Instagram somewhere. But yeah, those two I really recommend. Really nice guys, super down to earth, humble.
Right.
Make the tattooing process very bearable.
Okay, dude, thanks a lot for doing this, man. I appreciate it, because I'm trying to get as much people as I can who are not in a traditional 9-to-5. That means you guys are working 24/7, so it's really difficult for me to get these people online. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm looking forward to your quarantine end, or the end of your quarantine, so you can get back, and hopefully, you know, you can. I mean, you and your wife have been doing long distance for a while, right?
Me and my wife? No, not really. We.
When did you guys meet? I'm sorry, I didn't ask you the question before.
Sorry?
Which year did you guys meet?
2018.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, anyways, I hope, because I follow her on cause you guys do some really cool stuff on YouTube and on Instagram, and you guys are. The one thing I love about your socials is you guys pay attention to quality. And not just yes, you need content is very valuable, but getting the basic threshold for good quality is so easy, and you guys put in the effort, so which is why I been trying to get you online. So thanks a lot for that, and thanks a lot for sharing, and hopefully this can help somebody just break away from their 9-to-5.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me, and I really appreciate it.
Dude,
I hope this inspires someone.
Yeah,
Let's hope
dude.
so.
I'm pretty sure you're already doing it to a lot of people. I'm definitely, because my motivation comes from, like, you know, the people that I see every day. Like, I hardly have idols that are, you know, like big artists and stuff like that. It's just people that I know, because I knew you long time ago. Even though I didn't know you, I saw that picture of you, and then I'm seeing you now. Because back then I thought, okay, you know what, we are gonna have to give this up eventually and just go to the corporate life.
I was pretty adamant not to.
Right, yeah. So yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody, because people are looking at this and wondering, okay, how do I do that? How do I do this? And it's evolving in Sri Lanka, especially the e-commerce. Now that we've hit the coronavirus situation, I think the one thing I'm glad about is that our e-commerce is going to develop a little.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Thanks, man.
Let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. You stay safe. And thanks for having me. Peace out, brother.